Hey, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Thursday Night Hockey Show. I'm joined this week with Travis Aurednik, the man, the myth, the legend.
Back.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy? I got this
How much?
sunlight in the corner. Sorry about that.
That's all good. It's getting that time of year where you can see sun during the evening. So
Kind of obnoxious, though. It's just like this giant orb over here.
don't go to the light, Caroline.
So, the exciting thing happened to me this week.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
I was in an antique mall in Roanoke, Virginia, doing my job, as one does. And I found a Billy Harris and Dave Keon School of Hockey Billy Harris issued stick.
Yeah.
A 3-time Stanley Cup winner.
That's right. He's one of the last few to ever see a Stanley Cup in Toronto.
Yeah.
And he actually skated for him. So,
and him and Dave Keon were like big buddies. So I'd like now I want to find a Keon to put with it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Billy Harris was an extremely underrated tough guy too.
Yeah. So we are down to 2 teams now. We have got the Stanley Cup Finals. It's game 1 started last night. I am so happy. I am so happy that the Rangers lost. Essentially, there are 2 things that just annoy me, the piss out of me about Rangers fans. One is that goal song. Like, it is just the lamest song ever.
What even is their goal song?
It's called "Oh Hey."
Yeah, that's a terrible name for a song.
And that's all the song is them saying "Oh Hey." Yeah, it's awful. And
they've been doing
it for years.
Was that ever on the radio?
No, it's just a goal song.
That's how you know it's a bad song.
Yeah, and
at least we have "Howlin' for You," which is the ideal song for a team named the Coyotes.
Yeah, but I will say that Dallas Stars' goal song, which was written just for them by Pantera, is an awesome goal song. But
I think that the Rangers should change their goal song to the Wreck the Edmund Fitzgerald, honestly.
There you go.
Has nothing to do with New York. It's just about as obnoxious as most Rangers fans.
There you go. The other thing is the guy that in the audience that whistles the "Let's Go" band, that dun, 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 he whistles it, and at the end of it, they all chant "Potvin sucks." Dennis Potvin, who played for the New York Islanders, has been retired since 1988, so since the Reagan administration, and they're still complaining about this dude. Like, let it go, guys. Or find another player that you hate. Say Crosby sucks, or say somebody else sucks.
Do what Nashville does. Have a chant. Have a good chant.
Yeah, and change it for the player that you hate that game. Make it relevant.
Hey goalie, you suck.
Yeah. So I'm happy that the Rangers have been eliminated. I'm not overly excited about having Tampa in the finals again, but this is kind of the finals that we need. The clash of the Titans. You know, you've got the juggernaut of the West, Colorado, facing the 2-time defending Cup champion. So
defending snow cone champion.
Yeah, snow cone champion too. This is the final we need. So, but before we get to talking about game 1, we have
way more important news.
The news is broken. It has been
broken wide open. It is an egg from the Empire State Building just splattered on the sidewalk.
That is right. Our favorite coach, John Tortorella, is now the coach of one of my least favorite teams, at least.
They might be my new team, actually. They got torched. They're making good decisions. This is what needed to happen in Philadelphia. I mean, this is a best case scenario for hockey fans. You remember that weird NHL series?
What's that?
It's just about Philadelphia now. The weird NHL series, just Philly. Just Philly locker room. Just Torts yelling at people. It's a reality show. It's the new Kardashians. Torts is going to be super rich, super famous. This is a best case scenario for the free world.
Philadelphia could sell. You know how teams can sell. The NHL sells a center ice package for the game to watch the games. Philadelphia could pay-per-view every one of their press conferences, and they'd probably make more money than they do from the NHL center ice package.
And that's pretty crazy. The NHL actually had a record year, according to Gary Bettman.
Yeah.
Do you want to double it? Sell me Torts tickets. Sell me Tortellini and Tortorello at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what they need. In Philadelphia, I will drive to Wells Fargo Center for the grand opening of Torts and Torts.
Yeah.
So it's just Tortorello screaming on TV while you eat tortellini.
it's a 4-year contract. How confident are you that he makes it through the 4 years?
He's gonna, dude. This is the thing about Philly. The more outrageous stuff he does, the more beloved he's going to be in Philadelphia. This is
Well, that's what
not
they
the
said about New
normal.
York. That's what they said about New York, though.
No. New York never threw batteries at Ron Hextall. Okay.
No, they threw snowballs with rocks inside of them at Chargers NHL or NFL coaches.
Yeah, but I mean, we need somebody to throw batteries at Ron Hextall.
Oh yeah, Ron Hextall.
That's what America needs. Okay. Tortorella is going to single-handedly reunite this country. He's going to bring the economy back. All right. He's going to lower gas prices. He's going to entertain us all, and we're going to love him. And we're going to build little shrines to him in our houses. We're going to hang signs above our doors that have a crossed hockey stick and a clipboard behind it. Right. We're going to be the United States of Tortorella.
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be certainly entertaining. I think we're going to enjoy the shit out of it.
It's going to be terrible.
It's going to be 3 years at max. 3 years.
Oh no, it's going to be 2 for sure. But it's going to be a good 2 years. It's going to be the best 2 years in the NHL in probably 50.
So over under that Tortorella gets into a physical fight with a Philadelphia reporter.
How many he gets into?
Just that he actually gets into a physical.
So just a straight shot either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to take the what's the over?
Let's say 2.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the over. I'm totally taking the over.
I mean, I would take over if it was reporters and fans.
Dude, I'd have took the over at 2.5.
If it's reporters and fans, I'd be more confident. That's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I mean it's torts and it's Philadelphia. It's like fire and ice, man, just coming together to clash right in the middle. It's the 2 biggest personalities in the country.
No, it's a thermonuclear warhead that's been set on fire.
And yeah, there are atoms smashing before this is over.
Yeah,
they're going to discover a new element.
Forget the Higgs boson. We're gonna find out what actually created the universe at this point.
Yeah, it was probably Torch's attitude. The man's like Lucifer if he wasn't a TV character.
Yeah. Poor Carter Hart though.
Carter Hart's going to get eaten alive.
Torched now.
This is going to be the Patrick Laine situation all over again, I'm sure.
Probably. I mean, the only reason Torts lasted as long as he did in Columbus was he was like the only thing really keeping a focus on Columbus.
Yeah. And did anybody watch Columbus then? Does anybody actually know what happened whenever he was there except for press conferences?
No, not really.
I got to see Torts in person. And it was one of the highlights of my life. I'll never forget that day. I got to see him yell at somebody.
Nice.
That was like seeing Randy Savage woo.
So game 1, man. What'd you think?
Instant OT.
Yeah, I mean it was
a good game. It was a defensive game. If you appreciate hockey and not just appreciate goals, it was one of the best games of the year. It was just in it for the high speed. Like, this is the thing with Tampa, dude. If they're going to win, they're probably going to shut you out. And they couldn't pull that off.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
You can be concerned about a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
We are actually very concerned about the war in Ukraine. And we've done a show, not this show, but we've done a show on Ukraine before.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, I mean, that game had everything. I mean, first period you thought that Colorado was going to run away with it. It was 3-1 going into the break. Then Tampa scores 2 goals in 48 seconds in the second period. And then it was a really nice lockdown defensive battle in the third. There were some really good chances in the third, but very well played. And then Tampa took a penalty towards the end of the third. Actually, almost had probably the best chance going in that power play. But once the power play was over, Burakovsky buried a shot or a pass from Nichushkin. A really nice play. Yeah, Vasilevsky had no chance on that shot.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember right, last year for the playoff run, I was like, Burakovsky, hero. That is the man. I love Burakovsky as long as he's been playing. I mean, he's probably one of the most underrated centers in the league.
And he can't really break above where he's at because I mean,
because he's on with the best first line. He's the perfection line backup now.
Yeah,
I mean, since you don't have the Bergeron and Marchand line in Boston anymore, you have Landeskog and McKinnon, and then Burakovsky's probably the best second line center in the league. Yeah. And I've been saying that for a while. I used to make killer money just off Burakovsky to score, like any game. I just play them all. I'd play them all for $10. I'd make $150 a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably where I think, and this is so Tampa. Being two-time defending Cup champion, people were making comments about them being an underdog this series. I don't know.
Vegas didn't think so. Vegas gave them the line at 160.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
but Tampa has not faced a team like Colorado yet.
No.
You could say that
because there's not another team like Colorado, especially not in the East.
And the teams that they faced in the last few playoffs. I mean, let's be honest. Dallas doesn't measure up to Colorado. Montreal
Dallas got in on a fluke. I mean, Dallas was like, we have to have somebody to play in the first round. You guys want it?
Yeah, and Tampa got very lucky. I'm not going to say that. Michael Roosevelt. That's an interesting take.
Who?
Michael Roosevelt. I think he was a defenseman for a handful of teams. I want to say like Montreal and the Rangers and a few other teams, but all right, fair enough.
That works.
Yeah, I think Tampa this time. I mean, I think Tampa's still going to make a series of it. I mean, they made a game of it last night. They were, a goal away from taking a one game to none lead on the road. I still who do you have in this series? How many games does it take?
It's going to be a 6-game series. We're not going to get a game 7.
Yeah. You got Colorado?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. 6 games, Colorado. You sounds like you're kind of on a Burakovsky train for MVP.
I would say most likely. I would not be surprised to see Burakovsky get 2 game-winning goals.
I think my thought on who's going to get the Conn Smythe is going to be Cale Makar. He's going to do something just ridiculous in this series.
Hey, dude, Cale Makar is the only guy that I've seen in the past, I don't know how long I've been watching hockey, 15 years. The only guy that I've seen in the past 15 years, plus that I honestly think could perfectly recreate the Bobby Orr 67 goal.
The flying goal. I mean, that goal he scored earlier this season against Chicago, where, I mean, he was just going up the boards towards the red line and just stops on a dime and is immediately in the holy shit.
If it wasn't for the buzzer, nobody would have known that he even didn't have the puck.
Yeah, I mean,
it looked like it was just a saucy pass and then just knackers.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Patrick Kane goal that won the Stanley Cup against Philadelphia back in 2008. But anyway, yeah. So this series is off to a good start. I think 6 games. Colorado's going to win it. I would not even be surprised if it goes 5 games with Colorado winning it. But I think that's Tampa a little bit. I'm going to give Tampa a little more respect and go with 6 games. They'll probably win at least one of the games in Tampa. They might be able to sneak a game in Colorado. Not sure. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tampa wins Saturday night in Game 2.
I mean, I don't think they're going to do it on the road. I think that Colorado has that that home ice mojo. At least they have in this season. You know, their regular season record's insane.
Yeah.
For wins at home. So unless something really dramatic changes there, I mean, you know, it's hard to not give credit to Tampa, but at the same time, like I'm giving credit to the team that's earned it this year.
Yeah.
Last year's team, this year's team, a little bit different. This year's Colorado's been stellar, and this year's Tampa has just kind of hung in there and, you know, played the regular Tampa game. All it takes is like to find one little loop that you can slide through on that Tampa D. You know, I mean, it's always shots on net, right? That's kind of what Colorado's good at. So let's see if this key unlocks his lock.
They did the same thing that New York did in the first couple games of that series, where they were getting nice cross crease and actually down from point to just outside the crease passes that Tampa wasn't stopping. And the difference between the two series is that New York was coming off of a series. They were hot. They were rolling. Tampa had been off for 9 days. It's almost the opposite thing. And if Colorado's already doing that this series, Tampa's going to have to catch up again. So, and I don't think that Colorado's going to make the same mistake that the Rangers did. If you remember Game 3 of the Tampa series against the Rangers had a 2-0 lead, and they looked like they were just in lockdown city. He thought that Shesterkin wasn't going to give up anything, and then they stopped playing. They just, you know, that third period was utterly dominated by Tampa, and that's, you know, let them in the series. You know, the rest was all Tampa. So, but I don't think that's going to happen with Colorado. I think Colorado, if they can get a, you know, win tomorrow or win Saturday night, win Monday night for Game 3 in Tampa, then or if they, you know, they get to Monday night and they get a lead in that game, they're going to lock it down. They're going to keep the foot on the gas. They're not going to try and play, you know, oh, let's hold the lead in the third period. They're just going to try and blow through it. So, more coaching news. Bruce Cassidy lands on his feet. He is new head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. You know, he's been lucky. He's taken over a couple of teams that are pretty stacked. You know, Boston was stacked, didn't quite get to the promised land, although they got to Stanley Cup Finals. But they're talented, but they're cash strapped. How well do you think the Golden Knights do under Cassidy?
The real question now isn't even like a coaching issue. It's just how well do the Golden Knights do, period. It seems like a team that's been on the decline for a few years. And I would be substantially more impressed to see him turn them around than I would be to, like, you know, raise my expectations for them under him. I don't think that they really are the same team they were in 2018 by any means. And it's starting to really show through. You know, the Eichel trade was kind of the end of an era for the talented players in the desert. So we'll see what happens.
They still got a really decent line, but the problem is they've got so much money invested in Pacioretty and Stone.
They're going to end up in a Minnesota situation.
Yeah, those guys were injured. Jack Eichel was injured coming in, but he's not a cap friendly guy either. Alex Pietrangelo, they go after all the shiny things. I was watching a guy talk about it. I think the Twitter channel or the YouTube channel is the pissing tree. I think it was how
urinating tree.
The urinating tree. Yeah, talking about how Vegas really fell into the Vegas mindset of,
and he's right.
Yeah,
gamble.
Yeah, your first year, you're like, we were expecting just to be a team and you know, slow rolling to building a championship, and then you have all that success, and then you're like, let it ride, baby. We're gonna spend, and we're gonna keep hitting, we're gonna keep, you know, playing at the tables, even though we're, you know, now we don't have as much success, but we're still gonna let it ride. And then, you know, this year they crapped out. And
yeah, they really fell into trust the process, but they didn't actually have a process.
well, I think the process was there. It got blown up the moment they had all that success right out the gate. Um, if they had been a middling 500 hockey team that first year, they may have trusted the process and built a stable hockey team. Um,
That would just build a stable season ticket holder revenue.
yeah, I mean they're going to make money for a few seasons, but if it starts getting awful, it's going to be like it's going to be like a Coyote situation for a little bit where it's going to be reliant on expat fans to fill the arena, and be a nice warm weather destination to go watch your hockey team if you're like say from Buffalo. Yeah, let's go to Vegas and watch a game.
New news.
Oh,
New news. You like my Trump thing? Oh,
who
just
knows?
say the same thing twice.
Is
Uh,
the broken again?
the news is broken again. Sean Avery has been found guilty of
What?
criminal mischief charge after 2019 road rage incident in New York. Sean Avery's a criminal now. We all
Not
knew he
in
was, but now
metaphorical
he's
sense.
been caught. Yeah,
Wow. So Sean Avery convicted. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even hear about that.
mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's been an ongoing thing for a little while.
I hadn't even really heard of him since he left the NHL. I mean, I knew he took a job with like a fashion magazine for a while, and then he took a job with the NHL for a little bit, and then
Everybody just got tired of him immediately, as you do with Sean Avery.
Which is crazy because he is an advocate for a lot of causes that I'm interested in, but yeah, he just has no tact or ability to represent them well.
He kind of just sucks as a person. He has good intentions. He just does it poorly.
No word on Barry Trotz. He's still out there as a coach, available coach. He has been on five different teams. Two of them are now out of the way, which is Vegas and Philadelphia. But he's still on the short list for Detroit, Dallas, and Winnipeg.
Philadelphia's made the best decision ever in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I'm wondering where Trotz ends up. I mean, everyone says Winnipeg because he's from the area.
The rudest Canadian of all time.
If you've escaped Winnipeg, why would you want to go back?
That's very fair.
I mean, if I'm looking at those three teams, I would say Dallas. Dallas is an older roster, but they can still get some good young players that you can point to, like Heiskanen and Robertson and did they get rid of Klingberg? No, Klingberg's still there.
No, Klingberg went to. No, I'm thinking of Corey Perry.
Yeah, Corey Perry went there. Yeah. Well, he's actually in Tampa now. Mm-hmm. But he's gone to Montreal. But yeah, I'm surprised that Trotz is still out there. But that's a guy who can pick wherever he wants to go. I don't think he wanted any part of the Vegas mess, even though I'm sure Vegas offered him before they offered Bruce Cassidy. I'm sure he didn't want any of the Philadelphia mess, having been Caps coach for a long time. Seeing that market up close, I don't think he would want any part of that. Dallas would be a good place because it is kind of a defensively minded team. That's his wheelhouse. But so is Winnipeg. Winnipeg just needs an identity, and if he's really keen on going back to his hometown, then I'm sure they'll welcome him with open arms.
You know what they say, man? Winnipeg is the Ohio of Canada.
Yeah,
this is like Columbus all over again.
Enjoy that, Pierre-Luc Dubois. So Gary Bettman announced that they had surprising revenue numbers in his State of the NHL addressed before the start of the Stanley Cup that they have their revenues at $5.2 billion.
$5.2 billion.
And they're saying that might be a conservative estimate. Now, we can always factor in that, of course, inflation. This is the first season back with fans in all of the buildings. I'm sure ticket prices,
ESPN
the ESPN and the TNT contract.
ad revenue.
Yeah, ad revenue. He also mentioned that about $750 million of contracts have been signed and renewed in the last year. So, and you see all the teams, even the Coyotes who are struggling, have sponsorships and all that stuff. So,
But not a casino.
yeah, Arizona Arizona and Buffalo both had issues getting fans in the seats this season. And to set record revenues, they didn't address anything about the salary cap this season, so I think it's going to remain the same. I think they committed to that really, but 5.2 billion. Now, this time next season, if we're still talking about hyperinflation and there's still a war going on in Ukraine and all kinds of global catastrophes and raising interest rates and all that stuff, I don't think we're making 5.2 billion, but
no, we'll probably make it. It just won't mean anything.
Yeah, it'll be worth $5.2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hyperinflation. Back to gold standard.
Yeah, well, hyperinflation is scary, man. I've seen. I used to have old Weimar Republic stamps.
Yeah,
and they'd be printed like 30 Deutschmark, and then they'd be overprinted with like 18 billion Deutschmark. Like, holy shit! And same thing with Zimbabwe a few years ago. Their currency they couldn't print bills fast enough, and the denominations on them are just crazy.
Yeah, I have one that I never actually counted the zeros on. It's just the whole top is just
it's just zeros.
We call it the purple one.
Nice.
That's how we ID it. It's the purple one.
But yeah, 5.2 billion is not bad. Some of the other things that they talked about was I mentioned the sponsorship renewals, but he went on to defend the Coyotes' arrangement with ASU. And also, Bill Daley announced that they're trying to bring back the World Cup of Hockey for 2024. I think this is really growing out of the fact that they weren't able to do the Olympics this year, and they want some kind of global competition. I think the thing I'm worried about with the World Cup of Hockey is it's almost going to end up being like soccer, where the players don't get a break. Let's say you play the entire season, you go to the Stanley Cup playoffs, go through a couple rounds, you're playing into May. Then, you get a couple months off, but then you're getting, end of July, you're already back on the ice getting ready for the World Cup of Hockey. Or let's say you don't make the playoffs and you play in the World Championships, then you're playing the World Cup of Hockey. It's almost like there's no break. And it's almost like soccer where, they started tossing in all these tournaments where you've got like the UEFA Champions League, you got the Euro Nation, the Euro Cup, which is for nations, but then you also have the UEFA Nations Cup, which is for nations.
FIFA every 4 years.
Yeah, and I don't know how those guys do it, especially the top flight players. And soccer is one thing, and soccer is it can be a rough sport, but it can be, but it's more, you brushed into me, I'm going to roll on the ground for 15 minutes. That's more of what soccer does. Getting plastered into the glass on a nightly basis is a whole lot more physically demanding for a player. Even if you're not playing all 90 minutes of a soccer game, it's still much more physically demanding. They think they need the break.
Speaking of plastered into the glass, have you finished Shoresy?
I have not finished Shoresy.
Fake fan.
Yeah, I know.
Poser.
I need to. I just, I am so horrible with TV shows. Like I will watch a show like the show Lost. I watched the show Lost from the time it started. Like every week we'd watch it. I got to the final season, like 3 shows in, and I stopped watching. I have
So
no compunction to watch it ever.
I have this thing where I refuse to watch the last episode of any show, the series finale. I just won't. I'll listen to people
Okay.
talk about it. I just personally won't do it. And I was dating this girl, and she convinced me to watch the last episode of Lost with her. And this has been like recent-ish, like a few years. So it's been out for like 10 years,
Yeah.
right? It was a terrible decision. I'll never do it again. I'm going back to never watching the season finale or series finale. Like
It,
it was just a bad experience. I don't need that.
it's so hard to end a series like that. Like
I
I
never
mean,
want to do that again.
with a show like MASH, you could end that because you could say, "Oh, the war ended." Okay, that's a not logical conclusion. But for some of these
And
shows,
the
like
ending of MASH was fantastic.
yes, but some of these shows, there's no logical conclusion point for a lot of them without just killing everyone. I think the Game of Thrones tried to do that, but still failed. So, um, let's see where were we at? I got off on a tangent. Oh
Sorry,
yeah, so World
lost
Cup of
track of
Hockey.
you.
Yeah, World Cup of Hockey. Yeah, I do need to watch Shorzy. I'll finish Shorzy this week, and we'll talk about it next week. Um, yeah, I'm not.
Bad idea.
I'm just not really into the World Cup of Hockey.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love hockey, but there is such a thing as too much hockey because at some point the quality of hockey just goes way down because there's too much.
Yeah,
And I would rather have it 6 months out of the year and it matter than you know.
yeah, we're gonna have constant hockey this season just because they're doing the World Juniors in July. Like it's not like we're gonna get a whole lot of break from hockey, but
And the World Juniors usually are better than NHL season games anyway. So
oh yeah, I love the World Juniors. And speaking of juniors, the Memorial Cup Championship is starting this week. Or actually next week on Monday. It's in St. John, New Brunswick, featuring the St. John Sea Dogs of the QMJHL. They automatically get to be in the tournament because they're the host city. And then it takes on the 3 champions of the Canadian Hockey League, the OHL champions, the Hamilton Bulldogs. They'll be their first opponents in the tournament, and then the other 2 teams are going to be the QMJHL champions, the Shawinigan Cataractes, which is French for mighty waterfall.
it's pretty hot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Named after the Shawinigan Falls. They've won the Memorial Cup Championship in 2012. The Sea Dogs won it in 2011. And the WHL champions, the Edmonton Oilers Kings, are the last team. They've won it in 2014. There's some decent prospects. In fact, on the Oil Kings, your first round pick from last year, Dylan Gunther, is playing in that one. Uh, Oliver Nadeau, I think he was like a 4th round pick for Buffalo, is playing in the Shawinigan. He was their leading scorer this season. So I'll definitely be watching to check that out. I think they're going to Buffalo's probably going to sign him after the tournament.
Schwinnigan.
Swing. And so yeah, it's a very entertaining series playoff. So the way that they do it is each of the 4 teams play 3 games. The team with the best record after the 3 games play the other 3 teams gets a bye all the way to the final, the Memorial Cup, which is next Tuesday. Anyway, and the other 3 teams, if there's a tie for the 3rd and 4th place teams, they play in a tiebreak game. Then the team that wins the tiebreak game goes into the semifinal with the 2nd place team. Whoever wins that game goes into the Memorial Cup final with the 1st place team. So it behooves the team to win out in that first round robin and get the extra days of rest. Although it's not unheard of for a team that finishes in that tiebreak game to make a run and get all the way through that through the final, but because it's like 3 games in 3 days, so it's a tough run, but it's happened before. I believe the NHL Network is going to carry those games.
We can only hope.
Sad news. Your favorite goaltender from last year, and mine from years previously, Carter Hutton, has decided to retire.
Wonder why.
It could have been the burn from on the back of his neck from the goal light going off so much. I'm not really sure.
Sometimes you just need to figure out you're not so good at the things you love, and you should probably find something else.
Well, the stupid thing about the whole Carter Hutton situation was like 2 years into his Buffalo career, they discovered that his vision was off, which makes sense. And they did some kind of corrective surgery, and he came back and played for Buffalo the next season. He was worse.
Did not correct.
Fail. And so, yeah. And then he went to Arizona. Now, he only really sucked it up in a couple of games for the Arizona Coyotes for getting injured.
Yeah, we weren't keeping that.
Yeah. And then, I get, well, it kind of sucked for you guys because if you kept Carter Hutton in the nets, then
we would have
you guys would have gotten the worst overall. Absolutely. You get Vamelka in there and he starts, making a couple runs, and now you guys are picking third.
You little overachiever.
Yeah. Let's see. Jessica Campbell, 29-year-old Canadian former international player, will again break new ground as she'll be a coach during the New York Rangers development camp next month, or maybe August. I'm not really sure when they're doing their development camp, with the draft being later in the year. But as soon as that happens, she'll be a coach. She also broke ground this year in May when she became the first female assistant coach in a male international tournament, when she was assistant coach for Germany in the World Championships. So good luck to her. Hopefully she can make a breakthrough and be a permanent assistant coach in the NHL.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. And the final piece of news for tonight, Tuesday night will be the awards show, and awards the top 6. Well, okay, there are 5 main awards that everybody wants to watch. This one I'd never heard of. So there's, of course, the Hart Trophy for most valuable player chosen by the media. There is the Vezina Trophy for the outstanding goaltender, outstanding defenseman, which is the Norris Trophy, the outstanding rookie, which is the Calder Trophy, the Ted Lindsay Award, which is the MVP as chosen by the players, and then there is this one called the E.J. McGuire Award of Excellence. Now, E.J. McGuire was the head of NHL Central Scouting for probably about 15, 20 years. And they say this is Award of Excellence presented annually by the league to a candidate who best exemplifies commitment to excellence through strength of character, competitiveness, and athleticism. I hashed that up. But I'd never heard of this award. Have you ever heard of this award?
Never.
I don't even know who the nominees are.
Is it a filler award? Just something to make a little plaque for?
I have no idea.
I feel like you're not even going to get a trophy for that. You're going to get a plaque.
You're going to get a little sheet, like certificate of something. Yeah.
Certificate of greatness.
Certificate of greatness and $5 off at Ruby Tuesdays.
A restaurant who has never achieved.
Yeah, the ones in our location, in our area, have closed down. I think it's the whole nobody wants to go to a buffet anymore. Although I really want to go to a buffet right now.
Dude, their prices are insane for what they are.
Yeah, true.
Like, the last time I went there, I got tilapia, which was just standard, like Walmart tilapia.
Yeah.
The kind they sell in little frozen packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just thaw it and then throw it on a pan. That's what I got. It was $24. For $24, I'm expecting a plate of tilapia.
Yeah, like
not like a mostly warm fillet.
Hey, yeah, no bueno. All right, man. Got anything else for the week?
I hate Tom Wilson.
Do you hate Tom Wilson?
I hate Tom Wilson.
That's two. All right. Well, that's it for this week. I don't think we'll have a winner, even if it's a sweep of the Stanley Cup by our next show. I think. Let's see.
No.
Wait a minute. So
yeah, I guess it's possible.
It is possible.
It is
Saturday's
possible.
game 2, Monday's game 3 in Tampa. So
we'll see.
Could be Wednesday.
You guys will know what's going on. They will post.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll have at least one season-ending show. So, anyway, thanks for joining us on the Thursday Night Hockey Show. Blow a kiss from Travis. You guys are so lucky. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great night.